Inside the Birds is back. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Inside the Birds presented by our friends at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. It is the exclusive Jersey Shore resort of Inside the Birds. Geoff Mosher and Adam Caplan back with you to finish what we started last podcast. That's where we've been taking you inside the Eagles' 53. Well, their roster is much more than 53. It's about 78 right now. We're whittling it down to 53 based on our intel and our knowledge of all the prospects on the team at the moment. And this episode, Adam, we project the defense. Last episode, we did offense. Offense was sort of seamless. I think we had really good stuff there. And defense, there's a lot of different changes going on. So this will be a fascinating podcast for us.
Yeah. When we go inside the defense, it's interesting. They're definitely, if you're someone who likes to project the 90-man roster, get it down to 53, it becomes harder because defensively they have more talent than they did last season. They're very deep at certain positions, not as deep as others, and there's a numbers game. If you're trying to get it down, like offensively, as you said, it was pretty easy. Defensively, man, it's hard. I mean, it's as we go through this, I could just imagine how these discussions are with front offices and coaches. Hey, listen, we like the player, but we don't have room for him. When you have to tell a coach that, because coaches want to keep everybody, they don't want to cut anyone if they could help it.
Sure.
So yeah, it's an interesting discussion.
Yeah, there's a note that you put into our pregame outline here that shocked me. I mean, I didn't. It's just something that reading it was like, whoa, which we'll get to when we get into it. But it was one of those things where I knew it, but it just didn't crystallize in my head the way you put it. So we'll get into. I'll point it out when we get there. But for a team like the Eagles, to have this attached to them this offseason is very odd. So look forward to getting into that. The coordinators did speak finally, Adam. They had their introductory press conference last week. The Eagles world was introduced to Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore, even though they've been employed by the team for, about 2 months, if not more, now. I'll just give my brief. I like the Fangio press conference because he's not schematically like Jim Johnson, but personality wise, I think he's probably the closest thing we've seen since the late great Jim Johnson. He didn't mind answering questions. I thought he gave a little bit of intel, so to speak, as far as being honest and candid about things he does and about his personnel. And there was Jim was really good with the media. People love Jim, and Jim was good with that. Like, we had a good relationship with him, even though he could be like a crusty kind of guy to the public. But that was Vic. He was playful, but he was also, he had that veteran moxie about him. I liked it.
Yeah, in fact, I would say Jim Johnson is my favorite defense coordinator that's been here. I enjoy Jim Schwartz, but in fact, this because you covered Jim Johnson then. He would say things he probably shouldn't say, and he goes, "Oh, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this."
Oh, yeah. Andy definitely wouldn't have put the rubber stamp on that.
Yeah, I just remember he'd say that, and he'd laugh. He was awesome, obviously very revered and special guy, and miss him. Enjoyed covering him, as we all did who were there then. So, yeah. And Vic Fangio, I remember I was a Star Season ticket holder. Think about it. He was actually in his 20s then.
How about that?
That's incredible. Yeah, because you're looking at relatively 40 years ago. 40 years ago.
We're getting older by the day, brother.
He's 25 years old. He's 65 now. That's incredible. And that staff, just incredible. Terry Bradway, Jim Mora, Carl Peterson. You could go through the incredible coaching staff that the Stars have. No wonder they were so good. Other than they had the best team. They had a bunch of players who'd wind up playing in the NFL.
No doubt about it. All right, so the Moore conference was pretty good, Kellen Moore. I mean, it was okay, but it was a whole lot of like what we're used to, collaborative process and good people. It wasn't like as revealing, I would say, as Vic Fangio's, but it was what I expected. He's the younger coach. He's the coach speak coach. It was okay.
Yeah, so I kind of thought about this. You know how first Sirianni said, "Hey, it's the first press conference that they had after the Tampa Bay game was with Roseman on that Friday." Maybe it was a week after they lost. I don't know, whenever it was. So anyway, he seemed defeated. He said, "Hey, it was whenever he said the new offensive coordinator will be his scheme. It'll be, he seemed like, wow, this is when our buddy Tim McManus asked, well, what are you going to do?" I was just so Tim's the best. He just deadpanned it.
Yeah.
as
What
well.
would you say you do here?
What's I'm sorry.
The old Office Space joke.
Right,
What would you say
right.
you
What
do
do you
here?
really do here? Right. So, but then Nick got his energy back and is feisty, and he's like, oh, down the line, he was talking about what he would be really doing and how
Hmm.
they're going to meld both schemes or whatever,
Yeah.
which kind of raised our eyebrows. It should raise anyone, considering their scheme, which was great 2 years ago, was figured out and really struggled the second half of the season. It was really, actually, I shouldn't say second half, most of the season. It was very inconsistent.
Hmm.
But bottom line is that Kellen Moore runs a completely different scheme. This is heavy 11 personnel, some 10, as I'm told. So we'll see. Now, what Kellen made a good point, though, and I did think about this. He's absolutely right. You just don't like, yeah, he's going to run what he wants, but you want to take what worked last season, whatever Kellen in his study of the Eagles offense and whatever plays that you got to communicate with your players, whatever they really liked, you want to run that. You want to run things that they like. You just don't want to shoehorn your own schemes out. We don't want anything else. Doesn't work
Right.
that way. So communication is really key here.
All right. So if you want to hear more about the press conferences, first, Andrew DeCecco wrote off of both of them. He wrote some really good stuff for InsideTheBirds.com. So you can head there, read about all from his press conference coverage. He's also going to be doing his we call it the too early 53-man projection pretty soon, right before the start of minicamp OTA season. And then our Patreon members, for them, we posted the transcripts on Patreon. So if you're a Patreon member, you can read the transcript word for word right there, copied and pasted right into our channel for you. That's one of the many benefits of being a Patreon member, including this Wednesday at 8 o'clock. We'll be doing another Ask ITB live stream. So we've been getting a lot of people on. It's almost like a neighborhood now discussion, a little barroom discussion. Really enjoyed that. We'll do that Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And that'll always, even if you can't make it, I post the video of it on our channel so that even if you can't make it, you can at least listen to the questions and listen to the intel that Adam and I give. We are dropping nuggets on that all the time, along with our Discord chats as well. So all that's on Patreon. You want to get in at patreon.com/inside-the-birds. All right, we're going to get into the finishing off the 53-man roster look of our inside look on the defensive part. Before we do that, let's pause real quick and hear a word from our friends at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
All right, when we go inside the Eagles defense, Adam, we always have to start in the same place, and that's up front. And I want to start on the interior defensive line. And here's the note that you brought to my attention that fascinates me, right? This offseason, the Eagles have not made a single move, right, on the interior defensive line. No signing of a defensive tackle, no trade for a defensive tackle, and no drafting of an interior defensive tackle. That's for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's about as rare as it's going to get. I know the offseason's not over. We like to say that, and we do expect them to make an addition there as they're known to do. But to be this far into the offseason and not have that position addressed at all, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a benefit to it. You could with Fletcher Cox's retirement, though he was still really, really good. He clearly had plenty left in the tank. In fact, I believe, without looking, I think he led the Eagles' defensive tackles and snaps last season. It's pretty amazing at that point of his career. But now Milton Williams becomes a full-time starter, depending on what Fangio wants to do, because they played more three defensive tackles last season than the year before in 22 in the Super Bowl run. So it's just a matter of how they want to do it. Now, the one player they did add, but he's really an end in this scheme. It's Gabe Hall, who we've talked a bunch about, and I cannot wait to see what Clint Hurt does here. The Eagles' new defensive line coach is one of the best in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one player they add, but he's really not a tackle. He's more of an end in a 34. He's more of a he can play 7, play 5. He's really I mean, could he play 3? Yeah, he's more of a 5 technique, which is over the tackle on the tight end side. And he's long, man. He's got all the measurables you like. He just never has lived up to the enormous potential. And this is why you have coaching. We're interested to see what happens there. But yeah, you're right. They haven't added anyone. But I'll tell you what, we forget about Marlon Tuipulotu. I know he barely played last season, but when he did play 2 years ago, now he only played 9 games. In those 9 games, he played 38% of the snaps, which is surprising. And there were games where he actually played more snaps than Milton Williams. So I know he was a non-factor last season. They don't really have a lot of players that just overall on the interior of the defensive line. But you know what? Right now they got 3 young guys: Moro Jomo, Tuipulotu, and one of these guys, Thomas Booker. I know he's back. He was on the practice squad. One of these guys is, or maybe 2 of them, should play a decent amount of snaps as backups, depending, of course, what Fangio wants to do, because nobody runs the Fangio like Fangio. The disciples did not. Similar, but not. So I'm interested to see now with Cox gone, what the young guys could do, because right now that's just all they have. They don't have any veterans as backups. It's just guys haven't played a lot of football, but you just the May and June will give them a big idea of if the guys are ready or not to be key backups.
So Marlon Tuipulotu that you mentioned, it seemed like he somehow caught the attention more of Matt Patricia than Sean Desai, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like he played more. Him and Moro Ajomo got more time in that rotation when Patricia took over the play calling. But to your point, even with getting more snaps, I can't remember watching the tape and thinking, oh, hey, Tuipulotu made a play there, or look, like his snaps were sporadic. They would go in there. They were really struggling as a unit in run defense altogether. It wasn't all his fault, but he was kind of in there as that second string run defensive line, if I recall correctly. And I feel like every spring, especially for the last 3 years, we've talked about this guy as this might be his chance to really do something, prove himself, the versatility you mentioned, and it just hasn't really manifested yet. So it'll be sort of interesting to see with yet another defensive coordinator here and a new D-line coach, fresh set of eyes, if they unlock something in Marlon Tuipulotu that we just haven't seen. Because right now, I think he's just kind of been a guy.
Well, 2 years ago was really when he was a factor. Like the only time in his 3 seasons of play that he was a factor. And unfortunately, he got hurt, and that ended his season. He went on IR in November of 2022.
Right.
And he could play, as we were told, he could play zero technique. He could play little of 3 if you want him to. He's not, as Greg Cosell told us when we went over the tape from USC. He said, you know what? He's got a little bit of pass rush in him.
Yeah.
He's not super tall. He's under 6'2", but he's got some explosiveness. So he's the one got holdover. Now, Moro Jomo barely played, but as you said, you're right. Late in the second half of the season, he started getting some snaps. And the thing about him, I was told by someone in scouting from another team who had his area. Yeah, he's under 6'3", might be 6'2 3/4, but he's long. He's got long arms, like 34-inch or 34 and a half. And he's got some explosion. I know, look, these guys are late. They're not really supposed to play a lot. When you're a 6th or 7th round pick, your expectation is you're down at the end of the roster. But because Cox is retired, they don't have anyone else. There's no veterans. They got to play. And you know what? There's some upside here. Again, Tuipulotu played a decent amount. In fact, he played a lot before he got hurt 2 years ago. And Ojomo, as you pointed out, didn't play a lot. But in fact, he only played in 8 games. But he's got talent, and I know we've talked about him since they drafted him, how high they are on him, and he hasn't really done much. But you know what? To wrap this up, this is what that May and June are about. Get these guys on the field, get them used to what Fangio wants and Clint Hurt wants, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, Ojomo's a guy to watch. I think he's a guy who can make a pretty big jump with the right coaching and the right opportunity. And if he keeps himself in there and determined, where do we sort of, before we get to the guys we're going to keep, the Mustapher signing?
Yeah,
maybe that does fall into they brought in one guy who is considered a D tackle, a true interior lineman. I mean, was it a futures deal that he signed?
No, he's
just a regular agent deal.
Yeah, I think what happened was he was with the Saints did not bring him back, and Eagles signed him, and yeah, he's a backup nose who's got some upside. Look, he was undrafted free agent. You look at all these like down the line guys, but sometimes guys play themselves out. Bo Allen was a great story as a 7th round pick. You never know when you get into the offseason program, and this is where guys make a jump. And here's the cool thing with a new staff, like you mentioned Patricia and obviously Sean Desai and all the other coaches who are gone. They don't know these players. You know, as Vic was saying, Fangio was saying last week, his press conference, he's got to learn these guys. He talked about Jordan Davis and his conditioning. He talked about Jalen Carter and surprisingly his conditioning. By the way, that was a surprise.
Yeah,
He said it. That was
yeah. I was very shocked.
Yeah, and our guy we absolutely love is Milton Williams, who's in a big year. This is a contract year, so at least they're going young. If you're going to go young, you might as well go second, third, your first, second, third year players, and you put them in the mix and see what happens.
Yeah, Bo Allen, by the way, he taught me that Twitter is forever and that everybody on Twitter loves to play the gotcha game.
Go ahead.
So that's I learned that way the hard way.
What did he do? What happened?
So remember, Bo Allen was drafted under the Chip Kelly regime to be sort of a backup nose tackle. I forget, I guess behind Benny Logan, right? Benny Logan was kind of playing the nose as an undersized nose, but who had a good leverage and played that position well. So when they fired, cleaned house and then hired Doug and hired Jim Schwartz and all, I remember tweeting, I can't think of a more uneasy fit for a scheme than Bo Allen and Jim Schwartz. And honestly, it's true. Like Bo Allen was not considered an upfield, go get like a wide 9 interior defensive lineman. He wasn't built for it. He'd never played in that kind of scheme. But he obviously made the team and he wound up being a backup. I don't know. They played him like a backup 5 technique, if I'm correct, for Jim. So once he made the team, everybody threw that tweet back in my face.
I didn't know that.
Jim, you're an idiot. You're stupid. Wow. You don't know what you're talking about. your typical social media stuff. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't wrong, but he did make the team. I mean, people would tell me this is the guy who's going to really struggle, and it made a whole lot of sense. He's not a wide 9, go out and get the quarterback guy. He was go out and get the running back guy. So, but he made it. Good for him, and he was important. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl.
He wound up being their top backup D tackle. I mean, 100%. You're right though. From a schematic standpoint, it doesn't really fit because they ran a 43 front, wide 9. Remember they made the trade for Jernigan. It was, of course, it was Fletch.
Right.
And on that team in 17, you had the immortal Destiny Vallejo, Elijah Qualls, who didn't really work out.
Yeah.
And he moved up. He's funny as hell, man. And boy, Bo has lost a lot of weight. I saw him at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And I give him credit. He lost some weight to he had to reshape his body a little bit to fit Jim Schwartz's scheme. So I gave him all the credit in the world. It was just at the time, a pretty obvious what seemed like an obvious observation to make.
By the way, that's why they played BG and nickel inside, because they didn't have that was the big reason why they played NASCAR or whatever they wanted to call it then. I don't remember, but that was the reason to do it in sub, because you had one guy, they weren't very deep at D tackle, and that's the way to look at it. Now, of course, BG now at 36, if you want to use him as an inside pass rusher, you can in nickel. I mean, they could do that, but you got at 36. That's what he's got left. By the way, he had a lot of QRs last season, which is called quality rushes. He actually, for the little he played, did a good job.
Oh, that sounds like a PFF stat right there. Quality rushes.
It's actually a coaching. It might be, but it's a coaching term I've got from D-line coaches, because sacks only are individual plays. Like Greg Cosell tells us his story that I think was O.C. Umanara when I think Greg will remember the story, but he's told us this a couple times when maybe Umanara had like 2 sacks or something in a game, and Greg said, "Wow, you had a really good game." He goes, "Dude, I got my lunch handed to me because the other 40 play, whatever, the other guy dominated." Because you got to be careful. Sacks, extra individual plays.
We're gonna look into BG's VORP and his BABIP, his batting average with balls in play last season.
That's a new one. Yeah.
All right, let's get to the numbers that they're keeping here at the position.
Sure.
Go through the names and we'll hash it out here.
All right, so I've got 5 as of now, because we're not adding anyone to it. We're just going to go with, because here's the problem. It's a numbers game. It's really hard. They kept 7 to start last season. Yes, they would want to trading Contavious Street to the Falcons, but hey, they did what other teams thought they were out of their mind for. But hey, they did it. So right now, Jordan Davis, Carter, Williams are 3 who will start if they want to go with 3 D tackle front like last season. Tui Pelotu is definitely on it. Ojomo's on. There's the 5. I just don't have room Now see it. You got 5. Then you've got when they play a 7 technique. That's Gabe Hall. I'm going to put him on the roster. I'm going to put him on the roster.
Gabe Hall. Okay, so
Yep.
so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4,
6.
5, 6. So you're
You
gonna
want
have
to say D
6
lineman? Yeah, yeah.
All right, 6 DTs or D linemen. Yeah, 6 D linemen.
Yeah, right.
Got
And
it.
Hall, look, you could call him what you want, depending on how they play him, but he's more of
Mhm.
he's not quite an edge, but he's so long. He's just exactly what you're looking for in a 34 front or an odd man front.
Right.
But to me, he's the one guy that I will be glued on in OTAs when we're there, and we'll check in training camp, obviously, and see when we'll see what Andrew sees when he's out there. And obviously, you picked up that really good nugget last year, which wound up happening a little bit with their first round pick last year, Nolan Smith playing a little bit of
Mhm.
off the ball linebacker. That actually wound up happening. Boy, by the way, well, they don't need to do it now. They got 6 guys. I wonder if they'll do that again. You
Oh
never know.
boy, I hope not. I mean, I think
I
that
know.
kid just needs to be, get stronger, which I
Right.
believe he talked about he did this offseason, and stay on the edges and do your
Okay.
thing there. Yeah. All right, so 6 defensive linemen. Let's get to edge players now. So a lot of the familiar names. Josh Sweat is an edge. Bryce
Yep.
Huff's an edge.
Yep.
Nolan Smith, you just mentioned, that's another edge. Brandon Graham, you've got the rookie 3rd-round pick, Jalex Hunt. And then a guy that, Vic Fangio has sort of mentioned and we already reported that he did this in New Orleans and would probably do it here. But the big sort of question mark is Zach Vaughn, and when they're doing this numerically, they see him fitting into position group, right?
It's just funny because that's just as you said it. This is where I struggled. I can't believe I'm saying this in May, but no, but we're taking it seriously. So I know people love to do this,
Mm-hmm.
to go over, to do their own 53. And it's hard, man, when you're trying to pare down from 90 to 53 on this show. And well, on the last 2 shows, we did offense last week, if you missed it, it's kind of hard. So yeah, you've got your 5 edges or locks: Huff, Sweat, Smith, Graham, and Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zach Bond, who's going to probably play both positions. We don't know how. I was glad that Fangio said, "Oh, hey, he could play inside." So we'll see. We don't know if he's going to play 90% inside, 10% outside, vice versa. Split it. Who knows? They'll figure it out as coaches say as we get our hands on him. That's a big coaching term.
Well, I'm
Uh,
glad you're mentioning this because I do think people ran a little too far. Not report, just like fans and people who are reaching out, like, "Oh, he's an inside linebacker. They're going to move him inside. He's starting inside." No, 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 no. Vic did not say he was starting inside linebacker. He didn't say he was full-time inside linebacker. He simply pointed out they think he can play there, and they're more so than maybe others because, again, in New Orleans, he barely played either. He was mostly special teams. They see something in him. He does have the body of an edge rusher. No doubt he's big for what you would conventionally call an inside linebacker, but he's a great athlete. And they think that there's something there. So they're going to look at it.
Correct. So, okay, so we've got the edge rusher group. We just gave you the 5. I don't have Aquara. I know they gave some guaranteed money to Terrell Lewis. I'm really interested in seeing. He's a guy from Alabama. He's got everything you want in size, but he just doesn't be able to do it. Now, the key here is Patrick Johnson's only special teams player, but they're going to have some guys to the draft. This is going to be interesting. He's on the final year of his rookie deal. We know he's important to special teams, but they have a lot of guys who could play special teams now. So it's hard to put him on there. And Teron Jackson's been on off the roster a couple times. So I don't have him making it. I know some people say, you can't cut him. He's a special teams guy. He's really good. I get it. But you can't keep everybody. There are other guys who could play special teams too.
Right. So here's the thing. As far as keeping people, like you said, Huff, definite. Sweat, definite. Nolan Smith, definite. That's 3. Brandon Graham, 4. Jalex Hunt is making, that's 5. Zach Bone's going to make this team, don't you think? Like
Oh yeah, I'm going to put him. I'm going to put him at inside backer. I'm glad that Vic said linebacker. He didn't say edge. Like you know how people will call edge rushers linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
They're edge rushers. They're really not linebackers. You could say technically they are because
They're going to drop every once in a while. Yeah.
right. But for coaches will tell you edge. Let's just say edge. It's been like the cold term, like the last 4 to 5 years. And if you mock draft, people say edge. So we're going to put, because Eagles think he could play inside or outside. Unlike other teams thought he's really only edge rusher.
Right.
Eagles see him as being able to do both. So let's go to inside backer.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go there.
Yeah, we will do inside linebacker in 1 second, Adam. First, we got to talk about our friends at Game Time. Remember the Game Time app? Everybody should have downloaded the Game Time app by now. It is simply the best app for getting tickets. And right now is a great time because Game Time is so excited for the NBA playoffs. They got great deals on NBA tickets. And I know that Sixers fans listening to this are like, why would I want to see an NBA game? The Sixers are out of it. Right. But I've come up with 2 ways. First of all, an NBA playoff game is very exciting. You can go boo the Knicks. Like if you just feel like going to let's say you've never been to an NBA playoff game and you just want to boo somebody. You can go to Boston, get great tickets, go to Boston just to boo them, wear your Sixers gear, right? Or you can go to New York. But you may not want to boo the Knicks, and I'll get to that in a second. Game means getting playoff tickets faster and easier. The prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer that it gets to tip off. That is amazing. It's a killer last minute deal. You get the all-in prices. We talk about the views from your seat and the lowest price guarantee. It just takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets. Now, I was thinking, Adam, you may not want to go. You may be a Sixers fan and want to buy a Knicks playoff ticket and not boo the Knicks, because I was thinking there's a lot of Villanova fans in the area. And if anything, I think most Sixers fans hate the Celtics. They may dislike the Knicks, but they might find the way they play respectful. I mean, they play an old school style of basketball. And how do you root against former Villanova guys playing well, like DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson? I mean, Josh Hart. They are all playing unbelievably well. So you might just want to suck it up and go to Game Time and say, you know what, I'm going to go root for my Villanova guys. And if they have to play the Celtics, get past the Pacers, then at least I'm rooting against the Celtics and for Villanova guys. I think that that's the best use of NBA tickets on Game Time. But of course, Game Time isn't just limited, Adam, to the NBA. You can find great deals on the Phillies. You can find great deal on any local shows. I love to use Game Time to get concert tickets. And as we've talked about all the time, the last minute tickets, they've got the flash deals, the zone deals, where you can find, you can let Game Time find the best seat in a specific row for you at the best price. Views from the seat in the venue, the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. I guarantee you nobody else offers that in this economy, right? So Game Time app, always looking out for you. So save up to 60% off by buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater. Save even more with the exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game. That's the flash deals. The all-in pricing shows you the total upfront, no surprise fees at checkout. And the view gives you that panoramic view from your seat, so you know exactly what you're going to get before you buy it. You know that you get credited 110% of the difference with their lowest price guarantee. If you find a lower price, you get credited 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code BIRDS, BIRDS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code BIRDS, BIRDS, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. It's last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, so now we can discuss inside linebacker here. Let's go through some of the names besides Zach Bond, because this is a changing landscape for the Philadelphia Eagles here.
All right, so this is where you start to have challenges. Again, saying you can't keep everybody. So it's a kind of a good problem to have. They're more competitive. They have more talent. I know every single one of their inside backers has question marks. Dean's is obvious, injury history. Devin White, what happened last season? The drop off with him, as we understand, was 2 years ago, and then last year, really the bottom dropped out. Even Vic said he had an off year. Owen Burks is a good backup. Zach Bond, who's going to obviously play inside, because Fangio said it, at least play some inside, and obviously Jeremiah Trotter Jr. So here's the thing: Van Sermon's a good special teams player. Last year he got a little bit of a run. The one game, good start against the Giants, but now they've got a numbers problem. Brandon Smith. So this is the thing. Look, here are the locks who are making it. Dean, White, Bond, and Trotter. Well, I don't want to say Trotter Jr. is a lock, but he probably will make it. because remember, Dean's this is what Dean's third year. White's up after the season. Burks is up after the season. Bond's up after the season. So to me, Trotter's got to make it because there's your developmental player for the future. It's perfect for that role. So I've got 5. I have again because you gotta. This is a tough. I can't imagine these talks with whoever their inside backers coach is. And obviously Vic will make the call. I mean, he'll make the recommendation with the inside backers coach with Howie. But I don't have Van Sumeren making it because they're running out of spots.
So I've spent since we're going to do this, looking at this position and trying to figure out who doesn't make it if Van Sumeren does, because I just have a feeling Van Sumeren's going to figure it out. We got some time between now and then, but the traits are so tantalizing. He played well in the one game they really asked him to play a decent amount of snaps. I know he's been working on Andrew DeCecco wrote a really good feature on how hard he's been working on his instincts and his diagnosing this offseason. So I'm willing to get with your 5 that you get and say Van Sumeren's out, but I would like to at least try to figure out who would be the odd man out if Van Sumeren is going to be in. It's easy to say Trotter because he's a day 3 pick, but he is a developmental guy. Would it be Oren Burks? He was sort of like a third back or a second backup that they signed when they signed Baun to be a backup to Dean and White. But again, they have Baun also in mind at edge. This is a tough one. This is and
See?
I agree with you. There's no way they keep 6. There's no way they keep 6.
All right. So here's Burke's contract is small, 1.5 million. Majority of it's guaranteed. They guaranteed 875,000 of it. So yeah, 60,
I guess the question is, do you think
not a lot of money, though.
you can waive Burks and get him back on your practice squad?
You mean cut, not waive?
I'm sorry, you're right. I thought everybody gets waived now.
No.
No, it's everybody gets cut?
Yeah. Vested veterans. Yeah. Once free agency starts, vested veterans contract terminated.
Right.
From the trade deadline until the offseason starts, until actually after the Super Bowl. Yes. On your point. Yes. They everyone's waived. It's the craziest thing. The guy get 15 years is technically waived in season after the trade deadline. It's
right.
Great.
After the trade deadline. Correct.
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
So it would be cut for him.
Yep.
Could they cut him and get him on the practice? That'll be the decision that we have to see. Like, we can't answer that now.
No, only it's between I think Steve Carrick, his agent, and obviously Howie. So
yeah,
they've done a lot of deals together. They know each other very well, but we'll see. It's a tough deal, man. Burks is a really good backup. Boy, Greg really raved about him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got size, and we've mentioned at so many positions on both sides of the football, they've added so much size, and Burks is a kind of a taller inside backer. Because plus, listen, not that they're thinking Devin White won't work out, but what if Devin White doesn't work out? What if he's struggling?
That's a good point.
I know
there's always a surprise every year. Somebody gets cut that we are not, that we're like a little surprised about, or we didn't see it going into camp. We saw it maybe like a week or two in, like, we know this guy's on the way.
That reminds me, and this is one of the best calls you've made in our 7 years together. I didn't agree with it when you said, I'm like, there's no way they could do this because they don't have anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone with experience when they cut you said it when we did our off-season show in like June last year. You said, I'm going to put Greedy Williams off the roster. I'm like, who's the third corner?
Yeah.
And he didn't make it. And by the way, he never signed with another team. In fact, I don't know if he had another workout.
It's really crazy to me that he never even had anywhere, never resurfaced. And at that position, with his athleticism and length, you would have thought somebody would have given him a shot. But no. All right. So we're going to go with these 5 inside linebackers, and then obviously we'll revisit this discussion when it becomes more pertinent. I will ask you, do you, as a baseball guy, do you ever have trouble not conflating Devin White with Devon White, the old California Angel and Blue Jay?
At Expo. Wait.
Oh, yeah. He did finish his career with the Expos. That's right.
Right.
He was mostly with the Angels and the Blue Jays. Yeah.
Blue Jays. Yeah. Devon White. It was really
Devon White.
Yeah. Well, actually.
One vowel away.
Yeah, exactly. I go back. This is how crazy I'm with baseball. When I was a baseball guy, I used to go to see the Blue Rocks. Remember when Cliff Floyd was with the Expos organization?
Yeah.
In the early 90s, I would go to see the Blue Rocks. I was a big baseball guy then, big into fantasy and all that. So I went to see Cliff Floyd when they play the Blue Rocks, whatever. I don't know, Montreal's, it was with the Expos. I don't know who the minor league affiliate was, but in single A, because he was the guy for minor league baseball then in like the early 90s. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway.
Good stuff. All right. So that brings us, by the way, let me update you. We kept 6 defensive linemen,
Yep.
5 edges, and 5 off-ball
It's
linebackers.
too many. Gosh.
So now we're at 16. Now, when we did our defense and special teams last podcast, we were at 27, right? So that gave us
Oh, was that the specialist with the specialist?
with the specialist. We
Oh,
did
that helps.
24. Yeah, we
That
did
helps.
24 on offense, 3 special teams, the kicker, the punter, and the long snapper, and that gave us 27. So that means we have, my quick math tells me, what, 23 guys? No, that's not right. 26 guys that we can keep on defense here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we got 16 going into the back end.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's not going to work. So, I mean, this is at least.
We'll see. We'll see.
Right,
Probably not, but we'll see.
All right. Let's do it.
All right. And listen, what we'll do is we'll go with what we got here, and then if I say we're over, we'll cut a few. All right.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Sorry, guys. This is only pretend. We're not cutting it.
Yeah. All right. Let's do cornerback. There's a lot. There's so many names here.
I mean, look, the cool thing is, after last year's debacle, they have way more depth, better competition. They're getting younger. It's about time. They had the oldest cornerback tandem in the National Football League last year. Well, they could. Well, it probably won't be. I can't imagine that Bradbury with the team in the fall, but you never know because of the guarantee, a little bit under 11 million in cash.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go. Slay's 1, Mitchell's 2. They're your 2 starters. Bradbury on the roster for now. DeJean, we know he's going to play corner. We know he's going to play nickel. Yeah, we'll get into something we learned from someone who worked for Fangio, which I wasn't even aware of. But we'll talk about that in a minute when we get to safety. But Eli Ricks, who was the third outside corner last year. Ringo was the 4th. He'll make it. He was drafted. Now this is interesting because they drafted DeJean and it sounds like he's going to play a decent amount of corner. It doesn't help Isaiah Rodgers. Because he can play inside or outside corner. Josh Jobe only really plays. They took him off defense. He basically is one of the better special teams players.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is what I was saying earlier. It's hard. It becomes a numbers game. You can't keep everybody.
You cannot. We really can't, in good faith, keep James Bradbury, right?
I know. Let's take him off.
I mean,
James,
he's not making this team. He's just not.
Sorry. Hey, at least you're being paid, and I know there's an offset on your contract, but you're gonna make a minimum of just under. I think it's like 10.85 this season.
Right.
No, hey,
the Eagles have not used a post June 1st yet on anybody, correct?
No, but I think Fletcher Cox, the way it's going to work might be. We're going to look into this. I was told that's probably going to be the case.
You get 2,
Yes.
correct? Yeah.
Yes, and Kelsey, because I don't think Kelsey's going on the reserve retired list. I think I have to look into this. I was told that 1 or 2 of those guys, if not both, will go and post June 1 just for cap purposes, and then obviously go on the reserve retired list. We'll look into it, but I think that might be happening.
Mm-hmm.
So they may not be able to with Bradbury. And
by the way, they could absorb it if they wanted to. I mean, they are enough
basis.
Cap,
right?
They're
really in good space. But the thing with Bradbury is, look, you're going. DeJean now's got to learn this defense. It's complicated. It's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to learn that. Look, I know the chances of Bradbury like recapturing his youth from 2 years ago is highly unlikely based on the way he played last season. It looked like he was done. Like all of a sudden, as Cosell told us, you never know when a guy's going to lose his legs and lose the function of being able to move and your reactions and flexibility like he did. Like he lost it. But it's highly unlikely to regain it, but you never know. But again, they don't need to do anything because why not bring him to OTAs and see what he's got left? So but in season, since we're projecting the season, all right, I'll move him off the roster.
Okay, so we've got Slay, Mitchell, DeJean, Ricks. That's 4 so far.
Ringo
is 5. Now, do both Rodgers and Jobe make it? Jobe is so important for special teams. He's a really good special team.
I know. We're putting him on there.
I would put him on there. It's Rodgers that I don't know about.
Here's why I want to put him on there.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. Who's our kickoff returner?
I mean, there's a number of different guys, right?
Shipley can do it. Rodgers can do it.
DeJean can do it.
He's really a punt returner, though. He's really not a
Oh,
kickoff.
okay. I thought he did both. My fault.
Yeah, he's really more of a punt returner. Like
Mhm.
here are the guys. Just looking at this, here are the guys here are the projections. Rogers kickoff, Shipley kickoff. He did it in Clemson, and Paris Kimball can do it. He's done it before. He would only be emergency. He's really not. He's
Right.
just an emergency guy. Punt returners are obvious. Covey, who's tremendous. DeJean, who could do it as he did in college. Anaya Smith, he did it in college.
Mhm.
Isaiah Rogers has done it before, by the way. He can do it if needed, but you're not going to ask him to do that unless it's emergency.
Okay.
You're right. You nailed it. Isaiah Rogers is a tough one because he is return value. And by the way, kickoff rule. Hello, kickoff returners have more value now.
Yeah. So let's all right. So let's go 7 corners for
That's
now.
fine. Yep.
And we get to 23. All right. So now that takes us to nickelback and slot. We'll put nickel and slot together.
Okay.
Now, the question I have for you, I have a very important question. Okay.
Go.
Be patient, because first we're going to hear a word from our friends at Sky Motor Cars.
Sky Motor Cars in Westchester is a different sort of dealership. All it takes is one look at their Highline pre-owned vehicles that people all over the country want and need. Owner Brett Schiller, make sure you don't spend a dime of your money before you purchase the car. Sky Motor Cars allows you to make all the decisions regarding your next vehicle. At Sky Motor Cars, you never have to spend more than necessary. Visit SkyMotorCars.com today or call 610-918-7225.
And if you hop into Sky Motor Cars out there in Westchester, PA, make sure you tell them Adam just sent you. You will get a great deal at Sky Motor Cars. All right. The question I have is, do we want to get fancy here and put Sidney Brown on the you can put him on a list if he doesn't practice in training camp. You can put him on PUP, right?
Yep.
Reserve
Well,
PUP.
right. Well, let's put it this way. It would be stunning if he doesn't start training camp on reserve on active PUP. He could
Yeah,
just come
starting
off
camp. I agree.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. And then, but once he comes off, he can't go back on. That's the rule. So
correct.
it's that's one of the few rules that has not been adjusted. Like the league has adjusted like 1,000 rules, but that one, because the thing is, because you can't, you don't want the club, the league will never want clubs manipulating that rule. That just would not work out. But
right. Well, let's put him on. Let's put him on because I don't want to cheat the system here.
Yeah, that's my
challenge
point.
us to come up with.
But here's the thing: they don't. They're kind of light at safety.
Yeah.
So now, of course, your safeties are Gardner Johnson starting, Blankenship starting as of now. DeJean, right. Sidney Brown, McCollum's not making it. Gardner's not making it. And Andre Sam's a rookie. He's perfect to be on a practice squad. So that's it. I mean, now if Brown's not like they're okay. They have enough numbers at safety if Brown's ready. But here's the thing: I don't think it's so much a question. I know his rehab's going well. Here's the thing: being ready and being able to contribute at a high level, it's completely different things. So just because he might be ready for week 1 does not mean he'll be anywhere close to where he was before the injury. By the way, he was making great progress before he tore his ACL. It's a damn shame. So, and DeJean is a rookie, so we'll have to see. I mean,
so I like where you're going with this, and I feel we have 4 slots left to get to 27. I feel we go Avant. This is nickel and slot. Avante. Yep. We go CJ Gardner-Johnson. We go Reed Blankenship, and we go Sidney Brown. Because we did keep Isaiah Rogers, who also could have some slot versatility.
Where's DeJean? A corner? You putting him at corner?
And we already counted Cooper DeJean with corner. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So our 4 remaining between slot and corner, slot and safety would be Maddox, CJ, Blankenship, and Sidney Brown. So that means McPherson doesn't make it. Yep. Goodrich doesn't make it. Mekhi Gardner doesn't make it. Tyler Hall doesn't make it. I said Zach McPherson, right? Yeah. Tristan McCollum doesn't make it, which I think any one of those guys could probably come back on the practice. I don't think you're worried.
Oh, sure. Sure. I mean, look, McPherson was a very good special teams player. As we said last spring, they were cross-training him in the slot, and then he gets hurt. Tears his Achilles. It's too bad. You can't keep everybody. As I said earlier, boy, all of a sudden they've got a lot of special teams players, guys who could cover.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested, by the way, because he's so explosive. I wonder if Jalix Hunt will play on coverage teams.
Oh, you know what? When Andrew wrote that story talking about his coach, when he quoted Coach Reed, he said that Jalix is one of the best special teams players that they had.
Boom.
Expects him to be a very, very
good job. There you go. So That is why it's just so hard. This is really hard, man. I really want to keep Tyler Hall. Like if I'm acting as like you and I are co-GMs or whatever,
I
I'm the
know.
person to the GM, and I want Tyler Hall on this team. I talked to someone who worked for the Raiders and spoke very highly of him. Oh man, he's such a good developmental type guy. Like you love to develop as your, because remember Max is on a 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look, it's possible. Maybe, Maddox may have run his course with the injuries. Maybe Tyler Hall stays healthy, and Maddox did struggle when he came back. I think that was due to the injuries, but if his body doesn't, give him what it's used to giving him because of all the injuries, that'll have impact his performance.
Well,
But what I like about this, go ahead.
I was just going to say on your point, and the Eagles structured this that way. They put in per game roster bonuses because of his injury history, worth $500,000. His deal is his real money is only $2 million. The guarantee is only $875,000. So I'm not saying like they're going to cut him, but it's a cuttable contract. You can walk away from this money. So I'm glad you said that, because Tyler Hall now, I'm not saying he's going to push Maddox, but if Maddox isn't right physically, maybe Tyler Hall pushes or Isaiah Rodgers pushes to be a backup nickel. We'll see.
Right. So I don't mind of these last four that we only keep one natural nickel in Avonte Maddox, because of the Cooper DeJean can play nickel, CJ Gardner-Johnson can play nickel, and Isaiah Rodgers can play nickel.
Very
We
well.
kept three safeties: CJ Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown. I mean, one of them right now we'll see if he can even make it to the start of the season. I know DeJean can be a backup safety, but it just still feels a little thin there. But I also don't see anybody that we cut that I think is going to give them great like keeping Tristan McCullum there just to say you have another safety. I don't know. Like that doesn't really, it's not going to give you great depth. It just gives you a body. And again, you can have them on the practice squad.
Yeah, that's true. You can get them through. Most of these guys will be able to get through. So, oh yeah, I forgot them. This is the thing I wanted to mention earlier. So at one point, this is funny, former Eagle, not legend, Will Parks, when he was with Denver many years ago with Vic, they played a decent amount of big nickel one of the seasons. It was the year they moved Kareem Jackson when he came over from Houston. One of the years they moved Kareem Jackson to safety. And they also had, can't remember the other safety. Oh, of course, Justin Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Simmons, Jackson, and Will Parks was the third safety whenever you can call it big nickel, whatever you want to call it. They played three safeties. And Isaac Yadam, who's been with like 8 teams, was one of their starting corners for a bit. So Vic has that experience. So on your point, if they decide that they want to play three safeties, there's Cooper there that takes care of that to get him on the field. And then the question then would be and then Gardner-Johnson, man. Gardner-Johnson was the best, before he came with the Eagles 2 years ago, he was the best nickel D-back in the NFL. He was phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're right. Good point. I forgot about that. So I'll tell you what, there's a lot of competition. This roster is better. It's going to be better coached. And this is going to be fun. It's just the one question that we have, and I know other people have said it on social media, they seem to agree with us. Some don't. Some are mad at us saying, let the kids play. Where are they going to play? Because they don't have anybody else.
Yeah, right.
But
right.
That's the only issue. If the kids aren't ready, you're going to see some veterans in there. So overall, this is going to be a fun team. They're going to be better than last year. I'm not expecting a choke like last year. And you got 2 veteran coordinators who've been there and done that. Let's see what happens.
All right. Good stuff. That is going to do it. That completes our 2-part 53-man roster projection. And now we let it play out and see how it goes. OTAs will begin soon. And then, of course, training camp, I hate to say it, right around the corner. Less than what?
June, July, 2.5 months.
Yeah, it's about 2.5 months away. So, it's those days can go by quick for us.
Oh, mandatory camp is in 5 weeks-ish, 4 weeks. Oh yeah. Boy, that is going to be something. Yeah.
How about Vic Fangio? Yeah, I'm pushing for more.
I know. Good luck.
I bet you are.
That's another thing, because he's old school and he wants his practices, and the Eagles have a way of doing things. That's Vic is awesome. Yeah. I am looking forward to hearing more of his press conferences. That was fun, because as you texted me, this is pretty good. Now, comparatively, no fault to Sean Desai, who's a disciple, but these old school coaches, man, are fun.
They are. In fact, it would be funny if somebody said to Vic, give us one good reason why we should practice more or have more, like and Vic would probably say that. He'd be like, all right, let's watch last year's tape.
Oh,
All right. Oh, look at that. Two guys covering one and then a wide receiver
no.
wide open.
Yeah, that boy.
You want to see another one? Because I've seen that 5 times in this game alone.
Can you imagine being a fly on the wall and what Vic thought of the
Oh.
second half of the season? I just could imagine the staff.
No, I can't. I remember he had to watch tape, right, to get accustomed to some of these guys. So I cannot imagine what his thoughts were as he was watching some tape of Eagles defense last year and seeing all the blown coverages on bunch formations and trips and 2 defenders covering one guy, or one guy just runs scot-free down the. Oh man, that happened so much.
Let me tell you something. When we were hearing from other teams, they were just crushing the Eagles defensive line. Not Fletch, but some of the young guys, because they just weren't playing their gaps correctly.
Yeah.
And they were just explaining it to me. I'm like, what?
I know. What? And that was the front. Remember what they were saying earlier in the year about the back end when guys were just not playing the motions and the bunch formations and and trips, and they were just getting confused.
But one thing I'll say about Jordan Davis was I know the second half was, anyone who watched tape crushed him. He was really good. Even Cosell, who was a big critic of Jordan Davis the year before, was like big time praiseworthy of Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
For a while, and then he got stood up. He's clearly not in shape, or conditioning was not good, and started getting stood up again. So let's see what happens. But it's good. This is going to be well coached, and it's going to be a fun season for this defense.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Inside the Birds, the leading podcast in Eagles intel. And as always, we thank you for flying with us inside the birds. Be sure to check out our friends at PHLSportsNation.com. They're enhancing the fans' experience with their coverage of all Philadelphia sports teams. For the fan, by the fan is their motto. So make sure you check them out at PHLSportsNation.com and on Twitter at PHLSportsNation.